video because she puts this on our website, and it goes up and it's all over. People see it wherever they want to. So it's really a nice service. Green Valley Sheriff's Auxiliary Volunteers have been in service to this community for 35 years now. We have 133 volunteers. Last year we donated over 75,000 hours to this community and the surrounding areas. If you will look on this little blue card that I've handed out, you'll see on the back many of the things that you don't know we do. I'm sure you see our patrol cars around and know that we do house checks, because when you leave for the summer, you call us and we check your houses. And let me tell you, it's really important when you come back that you call us and tell us you're home, because I was checking a house about 3 months ago and the back sliding door was open. Our protocol is we must call a deputy, because we don't know if a good guy's in there or if the homeowner's is home. We don't know that. We know the door is open. So we call the deputy. They come, they take their weapon out, they go through that door, and they clear every room. The woman was just getting out of the shower in the bedroom. So it embarrassed 2 people. So please call us and let us know you're home so we don't have to call a deputy. We also do fingerprinting. We do fingerprinting 3 times a week at our office, so if you need fingerprints for anything, a lot of healthcare workers have to be fingerprinted now, so that's another service that we do. We also sit with the people at the sheriff's office. If you go into the Green Valley Sheriff's Department, the first person you will meet is one of our volunteers. So we take that expense off the books for the Sheriff's Department. We also have what we call our Community Service Department, which if you have someone or know someone that is beginning dementia or has Alzheimer's and has a tendency to wander, we like to go into those homes, take a photo. We take information, like what medication they're on. We take a photo and where they might wander if they wander. Maybe there's a favorite place. Maybe there's a park, a restaurant, a shop, something or a rec center where they might go work out. But we take all that information, we put it in a file, we take it over to our deputy. Our lieutenant puts it in a file. It's a locked file, so that information does not go anywhere. But in case that person wanders and their spouse or their caretaker calls 911 for search and rescue, if that we have them on file, we have the photo, we know who we're looking for, we know where they might wander. We can make copies of that and give it to the search and rescue team. So we have actually helped find several people with that information. So that's a nice service. We also have a neighborhood watch. That's very important for crime prevention in our community. And when I first got into the Sheriff's Auxiliary Volunteer, I worked with the Neighborhood Watch. And I would go around and I would give little talks on prevention and how to prevent crime, and make sure you please all roll down your garage doors, because that's a good way to let burglars in. But we would talk, and I would have questions saying, you know, I got this call from a guy, and he said I won the lottery. Or my grandson called, and back then, 8 years ago, there wasn't any information out there. I really had to search for information. Well, one day we were lucky enough. We received a gift from the Dr. Scholl's Foundation. The lady lived in Green Valley, and her husband passed away, and she gave us a gift. And with that gift, she said, now you can't use that for automobiles, for fuel, for uniforms, for any expenses. You start a program that will help everybody in Green Valley. So that was our task, to come up with something new. So what we did is we put 5 of our really talented at creative people in a room, and we said, you're going in there and you're not coming out until you come up with something. Well, this is what they came up with. And it works. And it is extremely simple. And it is effective. And it's just not easy. Because people are so used, now I'm going to turn this around with this. People are so used to just picking up that telephone. You know, it's our telephone, we've got to answer it. Well, guess what? You pay the bill, you don't have to answer it. If you don't know who that call is coming from, don't answer it. And so what we did is we made all these flyers, and we took them all over Green Valley, and we gave them to the merchants. We specially worked with the bankers, because guess where the money is? At the banks. And people were coming in asking for $5,000 because, you know, their grandson needed it. They got a call from their grandson. Well, we got together with the bankers, and our bankers work very, very, very closely with us. And they know exactly what's going on. So if you get anything suspicious that you think your accounts have been hacked, you go into your banker because they know exactly what to do. So after we went to Safeway, because they have money orders and they have Western Union. We went to the banks because they wire money. We went to Walgreens and Walmart because they wire money out. We went to the post office, put up a sign because they sell money orders. So we covered the community. All of our businesses have these in them. And then afterwards, we just didn't know quite what to do. We just couldn't figure out what else to do. And so we kind of hit this plateau. And in about 5 or 6 months, I ran into a lady. I was at a meeting, and she said, Lou, I just don't know what to do. She said, I'm really frightened. She said, my husband is getting 16 or 17 phone calls a day, and he's absolutely sure that a truck is going to pull up in front of our house with $450,000 cash and give it to him. Now, this man's an engineer. In his working life, he was over 250 managers. He was manager over 250 people, so he's not dumb. But I think he was on the verge of dementia. And people, you know, it's hard to tell when you're on the verge. And he was absolutely sure. And she said, I just don't know what to do. And I said, I'm going to go home, put on my uniform, go down to the office. I will get these 2 pieces of information that we had developed. I will come to the house and I'll talk to him. That's what I did. He saw the patrol car pull up in front. I'm in uniform. We sit down and we talk, and I'm looking right in the eye, and he is absolutely certain that a truck is going to pull up in front of their house with $450,000 cash for him. And he said, but they know where CVS Pharmacy is on Continental. Google Map. Well, they know my house. They know my address. They know everything about me. I'll tell you what, these guys can find out anything they want on the internet. And finally we talked, and I kept looking at him, and I said, I could kind of see a light go on. And I said, now this is what I want you to do. I want you to take this and put it right by that telephone where they call you every day, and you leave it. And when that phone rings, you read that hang up. You don't talk to them. You don't be nice to them. You don't think you can be friendly with these guys. No. You hang it up. Just hang it up. Well, a couple of weeks later, I ran into her, and I said, Betty, how's it going? And she said, oh, I just can't believe the difference. She said, the phone calls have diminished to almost nothing. And she said, I was in the office the other day, and I was cleaning up papers, and I was straightening books, and I was, cleaning up, and she said, I took that piece of paper you gave him, and I just stuck it in a pile and put some papers on top. And he looked at her, and he said, no. You put that right back there on top where it belongs. And I just went, whoopee skippy, this is going to work. And that's when the Scam Squad was born. And really, all we do is our patrols take extra time. Instead of taking a report on the telephone, if anybody calls into our office and said, I've received a phone call from my grandson. We say, would you like us to come and visit you? And we go visit and look him in the eye, give him this information. And the reason we do that is because in Green Valley, you know, you have neighbors. And sometimes those neighbors are nosy, are curious, or maybe concerned and want to know if you're okay, because when that patrol car pulls up in front of your house, when that patrol car leaves, maybe the neighbors will come over and say, are you okay? And you can share this information with them, because we cannot possibly get to everybody in Green Valley. So we count on our citizens to help us. We also have a news article in the Green Valley newspaper that you've been reading. Mm-hmm. It actually is the most popular column in the paper. We have had people, I've knocked on people's door after they've called about a scam, and he said, it happened just like it was in the newspaper, just exactly. I know just exactly what to do. We also have a radio program once a month. The first Monday of every month, 12 o'clock, we're on the local radio station. So we have gotten really, really good community participation with this. We work very carefully with our commissioned deputies. They know that when they have to go take a report, and they have to write a report that someone has lost $20,000. They know that that could be their grandmother or their grandfather. They know how hard we have worked for our money. And they know that money's gone. It's out of the country. It will never come back. It's gone. So they really appreciate what we do. And it's actually called community policing. And we're out there in the community doing it. So I want you to know, some people call them scammers. I call them slime balls, sleaze balls, sludge balls, scum balls, because that's what they are. And what they really are con artists. And they're very, very, very good con artists. I had one banker call me and he said, Lou, would you please go visit this gentleman? Well, this gentleman had gone into the bank. He had received a call from Mexico. It was his grandson, and his grandson was down there at a wedding with a friend. He got in a crash, and he was in jail. Grandpa, I need some $1,500 right now, or they're going to throw me in jail, and I won't be able to even make a phone call for 2 weeks. You've got to go do it right now. Go do it now and come back within an hour, because I've only get one more phone call, and I'll call you within the hour. Well, this man's wife had died 6 months ago. They did not have a close contact with this grandson. And he ran to the bank. He needed $1,500. The banker said, have you called your grandson? I'm not calling my grandson. It's too dangerous. He told me not to call. It was just too dangerous. And it's his money. So gave him $1,500. The man runs home. He gets a phone call. It's his grandson. Grandpa, go down to Walgreens and get a $1,500 Green Dot card. Are you familiar with them? They are prepaid credit cards. You can put maybe up to $700, $800 on one card. So he got a couple of cards up to $1,500 worth, and then he ran back home. His grandson called him. Read the numbers off the back, Grandpa. He read the numbers off the back. There's a security number too, security. And once he read those numbers and gave him the security, that money's gone. It's just impossible to trace. Well, guess what? This guy gets a call the next day. It's from the American Embassy in Mexico City, and they're calling to tell him that his grandson was picked up by the cartel, and if he doesn't give him another $2,500, they're going to murder him. Now that's scary. That is just scary. And if you tell anybody, we'll kill him. Runs to the bank. The same thing happens again. But luckily, we have good communication in this community, and we got a hold of him. Now think about this. If your house was burglarized, if somebody stole your car, stole your TV, stole your computer, stole your Rolex watch out of your drawer, you'd report that to the deputies. You'd report that to the sheriff. Well, you know, they might find some of that property. If they didn't find that property, you have insurance that's going to cover part of that.